Hey everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode where we're gonna talk about today is 10 very quick tips on how to shoot sunrises, and I hope they improve your ability to capture those nice moments. So stick around and stay tuned for those tips. So tip number one is scout the location. So what I mean by that is go there a day before, get familiar where you think the best shot is gonna be, where objects that may enhance your image are, and imagine the images in your head. What I do sometimes is I take a camera or even a mobile phone and take some test shots around, and that will help you to think and plan and compose your images in your mind. So when you get there early in the morning and it's dark, and don't waste time looking for the best location. You already know where to put your tripod, you already know where the sun's gonna rise, and that's all about the planning. So the next topic is plan the shots. So from those shots, from that experience that you had, from the scouting that you had on your location, go back home and actually think about the shots, but not only about the shots, but the variety of shots. There's so many different shots you can take in one place, and don't stay around in one location shooting one direction 100 shots. Walk around, explore different angles, explore different positions, explore different perspectives of the same subject matter, and you'll be surprised how your images are going to look a lot more interesting if you do that. So the next topic is plan the equipment. When I say plan the equipment, is make sure everything is in your bag and you have the right equipment to do what you want to do. I'm not saying that you should go and rush and buy stuff. A lot of people do with very basic equipment, and I started with very basic and limited resources, and you still be able to have fun and enjoy. So when I'm doing a long exposure, what I usually take is, of course, a tripod, a trigger, and a natural density filter, and of course the camera and the lenses. So if you think about those basic items and you make sure they're in your bag and ready to go the next morning, you don't take the risk of getting to the location and you by chance forgot the natural density filter, or you forget the batteries, or forget the card, the memory card. So just make sure everything is there and you have the right equipment to do either a long exposure or to do handheld shots. If you want to do sunrises, you have to wake up very early. If you think early, think maybe half an hour earlier than what you're thinking. So I usually leave home when it's pitch black, and I drive between 5 and 15 minutes to a place where I usually shoot sunrises, and that allows you to get to the location, get set, get prepared, and start shooting when even it's not enough light. So you start getting some test shots and having a feel of what's gonna happen, and when the right light is ready, you are also ready to take those shots. So get early, get set, get prepared, and you have a lot more success if you do that rather than rushing around and stumbling, and you probably even miss the shot if you're too late. When I go and shoot sunrises, I usually have two strategies in mind. One of them is I shoot long exposure while the amount of light allows. I use a natural density 8, which gives me the ability to delay the sunrise for a few minutes. So I usually focus a lot on long exposures early in the morning when there's not even much light available, to changing the strategy to a handheld scenario where I'm a bit more free to take other shots as the sun comes out. So once the sun is around the horizon, there's a lot of light available already, and you may be faced with two different scenarios. Either you have some clouds in the sky, or either you have a beautiful, clean, crispy blue sky. Tip number 6 is we can expose our images to the sky, for instance, and everything else is going to be a little bit too dark. We can also fix in post-production later But what I'm trying to say is, if you want to bring details to the sky, if the sky is worth having the details, if there's clouds or colors, beautiful colors, and sometimes the sky can play some amazing colors and you want to get those colors, so you have to expose the image to the sky, and sometimes everything else is going to be a little bit too dark. On the other hand, what we can do is expose to a wave, for instance. What will happen then depends on how bright the sky is. It will become completely overexposed. Again, there's no right or wrong, it depends on your artistic concept and what you're trying to achieve. On this image, for instance, what I'm trying to do is I capture those beautiful colors on the wave, but the sky is completely white. I could have fixed this in post-production, but I like the look it is as it is, so I just left it. It's up to you again. The next tip is clouds versus no clouds. So when you get to a location and the sun comes out, you are basically faced with two challenges. One, if there are clouds in the sky, you can turn that sunrise a lot more interesting. It might give you some different colors, it might give you the opportunity to work with those clouds and hiding the sun behind them, or getting an edge of the sun above the cloud and give those beautiful rays that cover the image. It all depends on what nature gives you on the day. It's very hard to plan those kind of things. The other scenario that might be faced is a completely bright blue sky. There's nothing to do with the sky, it's just bright blue. And what I usually do in those circumstances is I try to use that beautiful light into other subjects. I'm not necessarily taking the photo of the sunrise, which I could, but I actually use that light to take pictures of waves, of the shore, of the sand, of things that's happening around me. So when there's a bright blue sky, again, you have another alternative, which is placing the sun just behind an object, for instance, to give the opportunity for those light rays to bend and give the sun that nice star shape. You've probably seen in many pictures. In a very quick nutshell, what I'd like to tell you is bring your aperture to about 16 or 22 and place the sun behind, just on the edge of an object, and you start to see those rays coming out. So the next tip is composition. A lot of beginners tend to center the subject matter right in the middle of the image, which is, again, there's no right or wrong, but if you do this on all images, it becomes a bit boring, to be honest. What you want to do is use the golden spot of the rule of thirds. If you never heard about this, again, I'm going to do another video only about this. It shows you, if you draw two vertical lines on your image and two horizontal lines on your image, every crossing, in every intersection is a sweet spot. So if you put the sun in one of those four spots, the composition becomes a lot more stronger than if the sun is right in the middle. Again, nothing wrong if you shoot the sun right in the middle, but don't shoot 10, 15, 100 images with the sun right in the middle, then your composition becomes very weak. Same with the horizon line. I don't usually place right in the middle of the shot. You can. If you have an artistic concept and you want to divide the image in half, that's perfectly fine. But what I usually do is I tend to bring the horizon line a little bit down. It creates some tension the closer it gets to the bottom, and turn your composition a little bit more interesting. Again, try to look for other elements that can enhance your composition, or also eliminate elements can also enhance your composition. So guys, there's no rule about it. I guess it's what you want to communicate through your images is the message, and you have to compose your image to tell a story. So if you're putting a branch in front of the sunrise, that branch has to have a meaning, has to be part of the story you're trying to tell, and enhance the composition of that image. For the next tip, I want to tell you is be prepared to the unexpected. So many times you're shooting and you're concentrating and you're focusing on one particular subject. Just be careful, just be paying attention to what's happening around you and be prepared to the unexpected. So one safety rule, if you're shooting on the rock shelf, be careful with waves. Always be looking at those waves. If there's a large swell, do never turn your back to the waves. Always be very careful, but be prepared to other things like birds and different, if there are clouds in the sky, there will be different moments of different sunlights. Will be shining in different ways, different colors. The sunrise usually changes colors so many times, and it's incredible. So if you prepare and if you have your eyes, your heart open, you're gonna be a lot more successful. So guys, I hope you enjoy photographing sunrise. I absolutely love doing this, and I hope to see you soon in the next video. Thanks for watching.